So what comes to your mind when you hear the word MLI? How did MLI evolve over a period of time, and how has it become an inevitable part of international tax treaties? Has it already come into effect and applicable to Indian treaties? If yes, what are the articles of existing treaties that get affected due to MLI? What changes going forward on account of MLI? Today, we will try to answer some of these questions. In the previous module, we saw that a PE triggers taxation of business income in the source state. Various types of PE such as fixed place PE, service PE and agency PE, certain conditions to be satisfied to trigger a PE, etc. We also know that a PE provision may not be similarly worded in all the tax treaties, and some treaties may be more beneficially worded than the others. Thus, thresholds for construction PE or service PE are different in different treaties, which can be abused. For example, under the India-US tax treaty, a service PE is triggered if the services are rendered for related entity for even a single day. However, for a similar activity, the threshold under the India-UK treaty is 30 days. Thus, a US headquartered entity may set up a manpower supply entity in the UK only to obtain the benefits of such higher threshold. Similarly, a foreign company may be motivated to artificially fragment the activities or contracts into separate contracts and assign it between its affiliates to avoid construction PE, which is triggered if the activities are carried on for more than 6 months. These strategies result in artificial avoidance of PE emergence, which is one of the BEPS concerns that was highlighted by the OECD and the G20 countries. As a result, Action 7 of the BEPS package contains certain recommendations to address the BEPS concerns arising due to artificial avoidance of PE. As you are aware, many such potential abuse of tax treaty were identified in different areas of cross-border operations, and recommendations were provided in the form of BEPS reports on 15 action items. The multilateral instrument or the MLI is one of the ways in which the recommendations are implemented by countries. The recommendations under these reports can be implemented through either change in domestic law, which should be carried out by the respective country, or through change in tax treaties. Considering a large network of treaties worldwide, the OECD recommended to develop a multilateral convention to implement tax treaty-related measures of BEPS action items. The MLI is a multilateral treaty that modifies existing bilateral tax treaties, thereby requires just one negotiation, one signature and one ratification to implement the recommendations of the BEPS reports in tax treaties around the globe. It does not function as a protocol and has to be read alongside the existing treaties. The BEPS actions that are implemented through MLI are treaty changes as recommended by BEPS Action 2, that is the hybrid mismatch arrangement, BEPS Action 6, that is prevention of tax treaty abuse, BEPS Action 7, that is the artificial avoidance of PEs, and BEPS Action 14, dispute resolution. Out of these actions, Action 6 and Action 14 constitute the minimum standards. Sumana, can you please explain us how did MLI evolve over the years and take us through the contents of the MLI?
Based on the BEPS Action 15 interim report, negotiations of MLI began in February 2015 between OECD and G20 countries. On 24 November 2016, the ad hoc group concluded the negotiations and adopted the text of MLI and its explanatory statement. On 7 June 2017, a high-level signing ceremony took place in Paris wherein around 67 countries, including India, signed the MLI. As of 1 July 2018, the MLI began its legal existence. In June 2019, India ratified the MLI. Since the MLI enters into force on the first day of the calendar month following the 3 calendar months after the deposit of instrument of ratification, MLI was entered into force in India on 1st October 2019. It may be noted here that the date of entry into force differs for each country basis the date of deposit of instrument of ratification by each country. The MLI consists of 7 parts, each part broken into articles. Part 1 deals with scope and interpretation of terms, that is Article 1 and 2. Part 2 covers recommendations from BEPS Action 2, that is addressing hybrid mismatch arrangements arising due to fiscally transparent entities, dual residency of non-individuals, etc. That is Article 2 to 5. Part 3 relates to treaty abuse and provides various mechanisms to address treaty abuse as prescribed under BEPS Section 6, that is Articles 6 to 11. Part 4 covers articles related to prevention of artificial avoidance of PE status, Article 12 to 15, that is BEPS Section 7. Part 5 addresses dispute resolution, Articles 16 and 17. Part 6 contains Articles 18 to 16 relating to the mandatory binding arbitration. It is an outcome of BEPS Action 14. Lastly, Part 7 deals with procedural provisions such as signature, ratification, reservation, notification, date of entry into force, effective date, etc. to make the MLI provisions operational. These are contained in Article 27 to 39. Each MLI article shall have a substantive provision, compatibility clause, reservations, and notification provisions. A substantive provision can either be a minimum standard or an optional provision. Countries that sign MLI are mandatorily required to adopt MLI provisions forming part of the agreed minimum standards. Optional provisions shall be included in a CTA only if both the countries agree to adopt. If one of the countries opt out of these optional provisions, they won't be included in the CTA. These choices will be found in a country's MLI position list. Compatibility clauses are those clauses which define the relationship between the provisions of the MLI and the existing tax treaties. Reservation provisions give flexibility to countries to either opt in or opt out of an MLI provision. Reservation for minimum standard is allowed only if the existing cover tax agreement already meets the minimum standard or if the minimum standard can be met in alternative ways. Where a provision of the MLI does not reflect a minimum standard, a country is generally given the flexibility to opt out of the provision entirely or in some case partly. Notification is nothing but an information submitted to the depository to ensure clarity and transparency on the application of the provisions of MLI and on whether such provision supersedes, replaces, added in addition to the existing provision or modifies the existing provisions of a CTA. Not all the treaties shall be modified by MLI. A treaty should qualify to be a cover tax agreement so as to get modified by MLI. Further, not all the articles of MLI shall be included in a treaty. Modifications to a treaty is done according to a jurisdiction's policy preferences with respect to the implementation of the tax treaty related BEPS measures. This is indicated by the list of positions deposited by the signatories of MLI indicating their preferences, reservations and notifications. For example, India has around 95 comprehensive tax treaties. While signing and ratifying the provisions of MLI, India has considered all tax treaties as cover tax agreements, that is CTAs, except its treaty with China. Based on its policy preferences, India has filed a list of positions along with ratifying the text of MLI, wherein it has provided its reservations for not adopting some of the provisions of MLI and it has agreed to adopt certain provisions and provided notification of existing provisions. An example of reservation, opting in, and notification indicated by the list of positions deposited by India is before you.
Since MLI has entered into force for India, let us now understand on what are the steps that should be followed to check whether MLI is applicable to an Indian treaty or not. Check whether the treaty partner has signed and ratified the MLI and whether it qualifies as a cover tax agreement. Countries willing to modify their treaties with respect to provisions in MLI need to sign the MLI and ratify the same. Each signatory is expected to submit a list of tax treaties which it wishes to cover under the MLI, known as a cover tax agreement. Thus, check whether the treaty partner has considered the India treaty as a CTA. Likewise, we need to check whether India has included the names of the treaty partner. As we saw above, India has not included China and therefore shall not be included. Also, US and Brazil have not signed the MLI, therefore it's not applicable. Mauritius and Germany have not included India as a CTA in their list of notification. Hence, these Indian treaties will not be modified by MLI, even though the name of these countries are included by India in the list provided by India. Some other major investment countries such as France, Netherlands and Singapore have included India's treaty in their list of cover tax agreements. To reiterate, MLI will modify only such treaties where both countries have chosen to modify their existing DTA through the MLI. So is that it? At this stage, you will have determined if the MLI is applicable or not to the relevant ETA. Once we find out that the relevant treaty has been amended by MLI, Sumana, what do we do next?
Vaishaka, as a next step, we need to check whether the MLI has become effective with respect to a CTA. And in step 3, check which are the articles of CTA modified by MLI. For this evaluation, you will have to simultaneously consider multiple documents such as existing treaty between two countries, MLI provision, India's position of reservations and notifications, and other countries' position on reservations and notifications. It sounds little difficult, right? To ease this process, the OECD has developed a tool called MLI Matching Database, which makes projections on how the MLI modifies a specific tax treaty covered by the MLI by matching information from signatories' MLI positions. Download the MLI Matching Database Excel sheet and in the MLI Matching tab, select countries for a CTA. For example, we have selected India and Singapore in the matching database. Once the countries are selected, the database will automatically provide the effect of MLI on the CTA. We have left the link to this in the description box below. As can be seen on the screen, it shows the date of signing of MLI by both the countries, date on which MLI entered into force by each country, date of entry into effect of MLI, whether the treaty is a CTA, and which are the articles of MLI that will modify the existing treaty and the manner in which the existing treaty is modified. This is prepared basis the compatibility clauses, reservations and notifications made by. As an alternative, one can look into a synthesized text of a CTA if available. The OECD has suggested countries to publish synthesized text of a treaty through their competent authorities. ST is a non-binding document which reflects how a particular bilateral treaty undergoes a change due to MLI agreed amendments and how a particular treaty is, if formally signed, would have read post-MLI changes are adopted. As of date, India has published 19 synthesized text of a tax treaty. Please note that synthesized text is an attempt to compile the various positions on notifications and reservations by both the countries but does not have any legal validity. Any detailed and complex interpretations would need to be carried out based on the underlying documents being the existing treaty, read with its protocols and MOU, MLI provisions, India's positions of notifications and reservations on MLI submitted as well as the treaty partner's position.
Thank you, Sumana. That brings us to the end of this module on MLI, where we got a broad overview of MLI. Just to relook at the questions that were on our mind at the beginning of the video. What comes to your mind when you hear about MLI? How did MLI evolve over a period of time? And how has it become an inevitable part of the international tax treaties? It is not anymore an abstract topic discussed in the international arena, but very much a reality. Every practitioner in the cross-border taxation should be aware of its impact and factor the same in every advice, engagement, and Form 15CB certification. Has it already come into effect and applicable to Indian treaties? If yes, what are the articles of the existing treaties that get affected due to MLI? Yes, it is effective for most Indian tax treaties and covers predominant investment and trade partners with the exception of US, Mauritius and China, such as Singapore, UK, Netherlands, UAE, France, Japan, Sweden, Ireland, etc. So what changes going forward on account of MLI? We will dive deep into this question in the coming modules. The next video is on Action 6 of the BEPS, which is a minimum standard under MLI and one of the most significant change brought about by the MLI. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.